In a world full of shocking stories, this one stands out as the most twisted of them all. Get ready for the jaw-dropping revelations of a man who did the unimaginable. He starved his own infant daughter to death. But what truly makes this case shocking is that nothing is as it seems. These questions demand answers. How does a father come to the point of taking his own child's life? And why does he seem disturbingly accepting of it? Child Protective Services, or CPS in short, was the first to express concern about the home of Seth Welch, the father, and Tatiana Fusari, the mother, back in 2014. They found a substance called THC in their first newborn baby's body system, which comes from cannabis. But back then, nothing more happened. The couple avoided any further investigation by not taking their kids to the doctor. But not this time. In 2018, the death of their youngest daughter, Mary, became a police case. Mary was almost a year old, but shockingly, she weighed only 8 pounds. During the initial investigation, the county sheriff described their home as very dirty, with bugs, insects, and mold everywhere. I know, it's the worst condition for babies to live in. When Mary's autopsy was done, it revealed something horrifying. The doctor said she had chronic malnutrition, which meant she didn't get enough food and water. Now think about this. How can a father be involved in such a terrible thing, and why does he seem okay with it? Matter of suspicion, right? Let's see what happens in the interrogation room.
Seth, I don't know if you remember my name or not. It's Jason. This is my sergeant. Same name, Jason. Different last name.
Seth, I want to talk. I wasn't in on when you guys were speaking. I'd like to just get some background information just on your marriage, all that kind of stuff, if you're doing that. I know earlier you talked to these guys in a car, and
You know how dealing with doctors and hospitals can be a headache, especially when it comes to money. But one big part of their job is making sure that babies get the right care. When parents, like in this case, raise alarming signals that proper care might be lacking, certain steps must be taken.
to go anyways, isn't it? And everything was kind of okay, but there was, both of you had done some research and you weren't too keen on immunizations. And then come along the helmet. You guys wanted to get a second opinion on the helmet, so...
Infants usually grow faster during their first year, gaining both length and weight. However, when Mary passed away at 10 months old, she still weighed as much as a newborn baby. This lack of growth hints at an underlying health issue, severe neglect, or possibly a combination of both. This situation becomes even more troubling, raising questions about what Mary endured and the circumstances that led to her tragic condition.
Wow, what's the odds of that?
Yeah, and she was even earlier too. That's why I just didn't. It never, bothered me too much that she was skinny because she came out.
Yeah. So, Annie, when did it like dawn on you that she's thin?
Oh, just when she came out, she had just been up pacing around all night, and then baby started sliding out.
What officers are really trying to figure out here is what Seth did when it came to feeding Mary. They want to know if he fed her at all, what kind of food, solid or liquid, and most importantly, what exactly happened on that sad day when Mary passed away.
Right. Yep.
So, I would say April.
Okay. And then that was supplementing nursing with solids. Has solids ever completely taken over? Was nursing still?
She still nurses, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so.
Seth's responses are dodgy, and it's hard to believe he wouldn't know about feeding Mary. Since his wife was working most of the day, he automatically had the baby in his care. Babies follow feeding schedules, and any parent would know when and what their little one is being fed. It raises more questions about Seth's involvement and what he might be trying to conceal in the shadows of this unsettling story.
I know obviously when Tatiana was there and she would nurse her, did she leave you bottles of breast milk to nurse her, or did you not nurse?
No, we just had, that's when I would give her solid food.
Okay.
Here you'll see something interesting happening. The officers are doing their best to put Seth at ease so he'll open up and talk. They use humor and clever questions to gently dig deeper into the whole situation. It's like they're trying to piece together a complicated puzzle, and their approach is all about getting to the bottom of what truly happened.
The wife might breastfeed her in the middle of the night, or breakfast time when she gets up again.
So typically speaking, that dinner meal would be because then she would sleep till your wife got home, and so that would be the last. So you have to just feed her really
Once.
Yeah. Or
Mary was shockingly underweight for her age, at least 10 pounds less than she should have been. Now, when we're talking about older kids, a 10-pound difference might not be such a big deal because things like how tall they are and their body type matter. But for a baby, this is a major red flag. It's a clear sign that something terribly wrong was going on, and it's making the officers even more suspicious of Seth. They're convinced he's hiding something crucial.
And started putting some proteins to her, some chickens and cheeses and whatever, just trying to bulk her up a little bit. And did you believe it was starting to work?
I seemed to definitely notice that she was getting heavier.
So, basically, children experiencing malnourishment tend to sleep longer than healthy kids. It's their bodies trying to save energy. Now the big question arises, why didn't Seth find it odd that Mary was sleeping for an extended 15 to 16 hours? What kind of father is he? Did he even know about the kids or not?
You know, but you don't really think too much of it at the time.
Even if Seth had genuinely become concerned at that point, it was already too late. Given Mary's small size and age, there should have been efforts to get her medical attention within the first month.
Yeah, you know, I just kind of like woke up like a regular day. I wasn't feeling very well last night. So I slept in because I didn't sleep very well.
As the officers scrutinize Seth's every move, something stands out. His response doesn't match what you'd expect from a grieving father who just lost his child. Instead of sorrow, he appears relaxed and strangely content, as if he doesn't have a single worry.
So, were you in there when she...
What he just said doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's hard to grasp why someone wouldn't immediately call the police when their child has passed away. It's one of the most important things to do when something like this happens. The confusion in Seth's response raises even more questions about the circumstances surrounding.
You know, we'll be on the way, you know, call them when we get there kind of thing. It had been about an hour and some change, and I was starting to get impatient because I did not want to.
During this critical moment of questioning, worrying about what their family might think of their home in those crucial 2 hours hardly seems relevant. Seth's nervous laughter hints at something more. It's a clear sign that he might be hiding his true intentions. Moreover, during a previous visit by Child Protective Services, it was documented that the conditions of the house were not just untidy, but downright unsuitable.
They don't really get it. They don't really get it. So.
But, Seth, here's the thing. Looking back, you can't even weigh 8 pounds right now. She only 8 pounds.
Okay.
I don't know, she weighs 6 pounds.
Seth's track record raises even more concern. It turns out that 2 of his other children had never been taken to a licensed doctor. While it's understandable to have some doubts about the medical profession, that doesn't excuse neglecting a child's health. Given Seth's history of abuse, it's highly likely that this distrust of doctors was simply a way to avoid any professionals who might spot signs of neglect or abuse in his children. The situation is getting even more troubling as we uncover these details.
So much as other people, so when it says, oh, it needs to be this, the other, like I said, you know, I had a doctor who was mutant and needed a head-shaping helmet. I was told that she was underweight, fraudulently.
Now, what I believe is having food in the house doesn't count if it's not getting to the child. Plus, there's a speculation that Welch might have bought the food right before the police showed up to search the house. This brings up more questions about why he did that and what he was trying to hide. The horrifying scene was, Mary's intestines were clearly observable on her stomach. Plus, her spine is completely visible from her back like a skeleton. Without realizing it, Welch just dropped a bombshell. He admitted that several people he trusted had warned him about his daughter's health issues. In essence, he had knowledge that something was seriously wrong with his child, and yet, he deliberately chose to turn a blind eye to it. How shameful is it? As you saw, the officers used a clever strategy here. They skillfully led Welch into revealing that he was fully aware of his daughter's deteriorating health, even though he chose to ignore it.
So, today, at what point today did you and or Tatiana think, this doesn't look good? The size of her, all of this doesn't look good.
Today?
Yeah.
Seth's wife had been conditioned to take the blame if she didn't want to be punished, which is why she lied about the hole.
Well, we're going to get you guys out of here in a second, but...
I have a difficult question to ask you, because, and I'm asking this and maybe it was asked.
In a really cold way, Seth Welch heartlessly asks if he can just bury his daughter under a tree to avoid paying for a funeral. It clearly shows that he didn't care about his children at all, making him a cold-hearted father without a doubt. Well, stick around to find out the consequences of Seth's actions. After that, the police decide to dig into not just Seth's text messages, but also his photos. Why? To piece together a timeline of Mary's health decline. In August 2018, the law caught up with Seth Welch, charging him with homicide and felony murder. Then, 2 years later, in 2020, he faced a conviction for first-degree murder and was handed a life sentence with no chance of parole. Child Protective Services even terminated Welch and Fusari's parental rights.